Hello, true believers. Uh, this is Corey again. So, really want to cover some things with you guys. Um, so, sorry, I'm making sure of a couple of things. So, I haven't been here for a couple of weeks. It's been a busy couple of weeks, actually. And I'm gonna cover some things with you guys. So, strap in and hang out for a while. Let me start with my last therapy session. Actually, no, I did. I'll start with my race, my trail run 5K, which was on my birthday, October 17th. Um, that was a blast. That just was. Uh, of course, I say this being November 4th, and it's like 80 degrees outside still here in Louisville, Kentucky, and we had a frost warning on October 17th, frost advisory on October 17th. Um, so it was a very cold. Excuse me for a second. Come on, Abigail. Come on, Abigail. Abigail's up. Sorry about that. It was a very cold race. It was about 40 degrees. I was in my outfit. I'll try to post pictures of that actually in the blog below. And the cool thing about it was I ran it in 26 minutes and I think 30 seconds. Averaged in 8:27. I never really get caught up on time. Sorry. Pace for a trail 5K. My first trail race. Totally addicted. It was just it's beautiful. I don't really remember a lot of it, to be honest. I was just running. Even to the point where the guy, because I had and you'll see the picture, my balaclava on the bottom part looks like a skeleton. Um, and I had that in my KDF Marathon Race Ambassador shirt. My TX neon green compression socks, and I was good to go. And even when I was coming up, and I see the guy starting to take pictures, just again, I know one being a black male in the running community, and two, I'm 6'2", 245. Just saying, 6'2", 245. I'm a goofball. Uh, so I stand out anyway. So I always tend to wear stuff that I'm not ashamed of standing out anymore in starting lines. So I knew the guy was starting to snap pictures, and the guy's like, the guy who's the volunteer there is like, all right, make a left, you're almost home. I remember turning, and this is just me seeing the finish line and seeing the timer, the clock saying like 26, whatever, and I was like, surely I took a wrong direction somewhere. There's no way I've run a trail run in averaging 8:27 uh, mile. There's no way. I did. It was really kind of cool. It was a fun time. It was at Jefferson Memorial Park. Damari brought the kids later, and they had a bunch of activities to do, and so it was a lot of fun. Um, and it was really how I wanted to spend my birthday. Um, I've been reading. Well, I'm done with it now. Zen and the Art of Running. So I was really trying to practice a lot of those techniques I've learned in that book when it comes to endurance running and distance running, and that's why I really think it wasn't the same. Usually in 5Ks, and they're hard for me because I'm the type of guy that needs about 4 or 5 miles to get in rhythm. My body's in rhythm. It's used to motion, and the crazy breathings calm down, and this was a little bit harder. So 5Ks tend to be a little bit hard, but this was really one of those I felt I was in the moment. I wasn't thinking about how many miles I had done. I think I only looked at my watch, I think once, and it was it vibrated at 2 miles, and I was like, oh, it's been 2 miles. And like I said, next thing I knew, I was finishing. So that book has really helped a lot. I can't wait to put it to good use April 30th of 2016 when I'm running when I come back to running the 26.2, the Kentucky Derby Festival marathon and mini marathon, and I'll make my return to the full marathon. So I mean that was fun. That was really an enjoyable time. For my first race back in 2 years, and first race since last year's stress heart attack. Um, the staph infection almost cost me my leg. The both shoulder surgeries. Um, it just felt good. And it was just I crossed the finish line, and I really had two thoughts. I was like, man, you really did it, and the other was, man, that really went by quick, and there's no way that finish line clock is right. Even when I'm looking at my watch, I looked at it once and thought, no way. I started it wrong. That clock is wrong. There's no way. It wasn't until I got the official. I looked on the website for the official time later on. I was like, whoa. Scary thing is, I think I was sixth or seventh, like in my age group, so I wasn't even like nearly the fastest person there. Maybe that's it. Maybe I got caught up in the crowd, and the crowd was running. I don't know, but it was a lot of fun. I really been practicing and working on body dysmorphia and low self esteem. So for the first time since I've been a runner, for 6 years next April, um, I didn't beat myself up. I didn't cross the finish line and do what I always do and think, oh, I should have done this. I should have run harder at this point, and oh, this you were so stupid and you wasted time. I finished and I was done. And one of the teachings in Zen and Buddha talks about, to give an example, a cup. If you have a favorite cup, instead of worrying about when that cup's going to break or what's going to happen to it or how it's going to be treated or just is someone going to mess it up, you just think of that cup as it's already broken. So the time you have with that cup, you need to enjoy instead of because it's going to break. So that's to me it was like I'm going to cross the finish line. So let's enjoy the time of the race, the time it takes to get there. I'm going to cross the finish line anyway, regardless of when. So let's just enjoy the process. Um, so I'm curious to see in the realms of a full marathon, a full 26.2 miles, those times I mentally hit the wall, which, if you've run 26.2 miles and never hit the wall, please leave me a comment below and let a brother know how. It's pretty cool. It was really neat. All right, now talking about my last therapy session. Man, we talked about we spent some sorry, it's kind of tough. We spent some more time talking about my body dysmorphic uh syndrome. I don't know the technical terms. Um and Dr. Davis is very shocked, and she's really helping with this. She's like, you don't when you look in the mirror, I wish you could see yourself the way people see you. And I said, I just don't. I said, even when I'm in the gym, I'm not facing mirrors. I don't look at them. I'm the weird guy. Everyone's facing the mirror, and I'm the dude that's my back's to the mirror. And she asked me about, fitting clothes, and I said, I always buy shirts or clothes that are like a couple of sizes too big. And she said, do you ever wear fitted clothes? And I said, well, I have a couple of compression shirts, but those are usually worn under something. I said, but I've never looked at myself in them. I just figured I'd be disgusted. Um, she suggested that I spend some time doing that, which is kind of weird because it's a mirror. Mirrors have never been a source of anything but mental pain. But it worked out pretty well. It was kind of cool. I've now shirts will fit me weird because there's a muscular issue in chest and shoulders. So if I get a shirt that's big enough to fit there, it's gonna fit baggy down here. I accept that. That's just thankfully how I've worked myself to be. It's the same thing, my legs and pants. I mean, there's runners exercise. There's runners slash leg day in the gym twice a week, thighs and calf there. So if it's gonna fit over there, I'm gonna need a belt on it because it's gonna be kind of big around my waist. Y'all know what I'm talking about. A dear online friend of mine who leaves me comments on this blog, Melissa Cunningham. She's wonderful, wonderful mom, wife, and fitness expert. I'll call her that. She's also a fitness competitor, and it's the struggle is real when you're trying to find outside of sweatpants and baggy shirt. But as far as like everyday clothes, like it is a struggle. Little comic relief for you. But very seriously, we talked about challenges in my life from the abuser still, and I was talking to Dr. Davis, and I said, I know there's about to be a come to Jesus coming up because it's Thanksgiving. Um, Demar and I are, we've always done our own thing, but we're going out of town, and I know there's going to be a come to Jesus moment with my family and myself. And I said for the first time in 43 years, without exaggeration, I'm ready. I'm not. It's kind of like taking self defense. You're not looking to pick a fight, but if somebody does, you're good. And I feel prepared. I feel like there's uh, tools in my toolbox that I'm ready to deal with um, the shaming and oh, why are you being so stupid? Why are you being selfish and this and that? And I feel better ready to handle that. And speaking of shaming, we discussed that last week as well. Um, I told her all my life I've always been told I should be ashamed of myself, and she brought up a wonderful point. The only time anyone should be ashamed of something is when they've done something that's highly wrong. Then you should be ashamed of it. But you can't. What child is supposed to be ashamed of themselves for being a child? Um, one of the things I talk with my children about, and I think I've said this probably a million times, so forgive me, but when they tell me, when we have a school conversation, which I absolutely love, I never take that for granted with my two oldest who are in school, and they'll tell me they had a test, which they've been studying for it at home and everything else, and how'd your test go? They'll say good. I think I got an A, and I always correct them. I say, but did you try your hardest? And they said yes. I go, I don't care what the grade is. You put everything into it you could. Grades will come. Um, when I was a kid, if I didn't get an A, I was stupid and I didn't study hard enough. And I understand, and that's it's a great deal of pressure to have as a kid. I'm not talking high school. I'm talking like elementary school. That was my daily life, and I never want my children to feel like their best is an arbitrary thing. Um, if you care enough to do your best, I believe that should be celebrated. Some people are going to have difficulties in some subjects. Some subjects are going to be easy. But the point is, my dad got arrested. So my dad told me that he's like, I know Corey, math for you is easy. So if you bring home an A in math, you know, so what? As opposed to your mom will get all excited about it. He's like, I know science is hard for you, so if you bring home a C, and I know you've been working your butt off for it, I'm more proud of you for that C. And that stuck with me. Um, so that's something I instill weekly, if not daily, with my kids. Just as well as on the flip side, telling them I'm proud of them. Um, and I try not to wait for an event like, okay, you brought home a great report card, I'm proud of you. I really let them know I'm proud of them for being my daughter. I'm proud of them for being good people. Um, because I think they need to understand that. They need to understand um, my love and affection isn't. Sorry, it's my phone vibrating. My love and affection for them isn't for special occasions. They need to understand that I am proud of them every single day. They are phenomenal people that are they're phenomenal children that are growing up to be phenomenal people, and they need to understand that I'm proud of them because that's what they're doing. I don't want to take credit for them being phenomenal people. I want them to take credit for themselves being phenomenal people. I don't want them to say, "Oh, is my dad right?" No, they make wonderful decisions every day. All I can do is instill the basis into them, but they still have to go through every single day making difficult choices, even as children. It's just a fact. Um, so we also in therapy session, um, just sorry, it was a weird noise. Um, also discussed more about my self-esteem, which is kind of different than the body dysmorphia, but just my overall um, being able to like myself, being able to think in the first person and not break myself down. And I'm working on that. I mean, actively working on that. And I feel good about that. I feel good about the changes. Um, if you follow me on like Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, I post, try that one again. I post, little video clips of my workouts. And um, I don't expect anybody to notice this except me, but camera angles have changed now and recently as opposed to the past few months. Before it was kind of at an angle. I always kept it like I was sort of in the shadows, like not the light wasn't hitting me, and it was sort of dark. And now it's different. Even when I work out, instead of me trying to cower to a corner, I don't mind being in the middle where everyone sees me. One of the things I've added to my workout is using I may be pronouncing it wrong, Bosu ball, Bosuba ball. It's the half circle that's got the flat top, the flat part of it, and it's filled with air, and it's a half circle. Well, I started putting that down thanks to a friend of mine, Laura. Hi. I started to do all of my workouts balancing myself on this, the flat side down, flat side up that I'm standing on, and then the half balloon part of it underneath. So when I do my squats, when I do my shoulder press, when I do my bicep curls, when I do anything free weight, I do it on that ball to work on my core and work on my stability. When I was first doing it, I was trying to be in the corner. I didn't want anybody looking at me, and now I'm like, I don't care, you know. And people comment all the time, like, man, I can't do that. And I'm like, before I would have ran and I just would have giggled it off and done whatever. Now I'm just like, I stand in the little room, do my exercises, people look, stare, comment. I don't give a damn anymore. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean it in I'm not beating myself up, hiding myself in the corner because I don't want anybody to look at me kind of way. It's now I'm just like, all right, cool. You got questions? I'll give you some answers. You want to admire me? Cool. If you want to look at me like I'm crazy, my workout's better than yours. It's pretty much how it is. I'm enjoying things a lot more, which is wonderful. Um, let's see what else. So right after my birthday, that very next weekend, we had a stomach bug hit the house hard. The only two people that didn't get affected were me and I call her my alpha, my oldest born, my daughter, my first child, my daughter. She and I are the only ones that were unscathed. So we spent a lot of that weekend. Well, I did cleaning up vomit, washing sheets and clothes over and over, and lysoling the hell out of this house. So that was funny. And this past weekend was, of course, Halloween, and it was the first warm Halloween we've had since moving to Louisville. 7 years ago. Um, and the kids loved it. Jarrell, my youngest, my Omega, He's 19 months, and he actually went walking. I stayed and handed out candy. He actually went walking and walked up to houses and held his little bucket out. Damari had sent me video, and it was really great. And then he hung out with me, and he helped me hand out candy. He'd stick a handful and put it in somebody's box, and he just keep trying to put it in their bag over and over. I'm like, yeah, I'll just put one handful in there. Um, I'm learning to, one of the things with therapy, I'm really learning to appreciate the small everyday moments more, without worrying about the next thing or worrying about the last thing. Just looking, tonight the kids were in and out of baths, and I had my little Beats pill, playing some music for them, appropriate music, of course, playing music for them, and we were all just sort of dancing around. And Jarrell does this, because he can't snap his fingers, so he makes that noise with his mouth, and we're just dancing around. And I'm just like, people always ask Tamari and I, why don't we ever get babysitters more? Why don't we ever take more date nights? And my answers are, I've never really understood it until now, sorry. And I just realized, at some point these kids will all be grown up, hopefully blessed with families of their own like I am. And Damar and I have plenty of time to go on date nights, and I'll miss these moments. And I want to experience every single one of them I can. Um, so that's me. Um, this week, today's Wednesday, November 4th. Tomorrow I have another session with Dr. Davis, and we're really going to get into breaking down my body dysmorphia. And I told her, she asked me if I wanted to do that or EMDR, and I said I really need to work on this because I need to break it. Realistically, I'm in the best shape of my life, um, inside and outside, and yet I have to tell myself that when I'm looking in a mirror, and it's weird. And I've changed that a little, and I've noticed a difference when I look at myself, but I just need to work on that some more. Um, so it's been an awesome few weeks, and between the sickness and, oh, I wasn't sure, I had a lot of pain here and a stiffness. I went to go to the doctor. It turns out I had a stone stuck in my saliva gland, and I got told I needed to have a lot of sour stuff to push the stone out, which a couple of days later I was fine. This past week I had a unexplainable lump in my lower shin, like right almost at the ankle. Went to the urgent care. They rushed me to the ER because they weren't sure if it was a blood clot or not. Turned out to be just a collection of fluids, and literally just came up one day. It was the weirdest thing in the world, and they told me to ice it, take some ibuprofen, it should go down, and it significantly went down the next day. I mean, it's still sore now, and part of that's because today was leg day in the gym, but it's definitely gone down. And so, like I said, it's been an eventful couple weeks, um, but I feel, as each therapy session goes by, I just come out feeling so hopeful, and I mean hopeful from the standpoint of, uh, not a temporary sort of wave that crash comes down, and that's the theme in being bipolar. But I just feel like there's a there's going to come a day that all of these things I'm learning is just going to come together, and I know, it's going to be beautiful, and that's how I'm going to see things, going forward. And we're sort of building the pieces now, and I see it. I see the big picture, and it's great. I excuse me. I feel more relaxed. I'm able to get better quality sleep. I'm able to enjoy moments more. The other day, I also think I posted on my Instagram. It was midday. I'm a stay-at-home dad. Uh, the two babies, Adriana and Jarrell, she's 4 and he's 19 months, were napping. Um, Abigail, our puppy, was napping next to Adriana on the couch, and I just had some jazz on, and I was just, no TV. I kind of hate daytime TV anyway. I kind of hate TV. Unless it's a superhero show, and then I'm all over it. Or science fiction. Uh, I just had some jazz on, and just it was. I think I called it like midday me time, and it was just listening to it for like 20, 30 minutes. Just I was just being, and that's the only way to really describe this. Is that's what this journey is giving me. It gives me an opportunity to just be. My mind isn't racing to 101 things I should have done better previously. My mind's not racing to 101 things that are coming up that I need to worry about. My mind isn't looking down and going, "Oh, you fat ass," or "You're so ugly," or this or that. It's just being, and it is a godsend. And I'm not saying that to be cute. I mean, it is an incredible feeling to just be, to just look around and you are in this moment. You're not, I have a mantra, which is a wonderful mantra I have when I run. And I've shared this with a million people, especially as a race ambassador, but I always have. And when I even trained my wife to run a half marathon a couple of years ago, I have this mantra called run the mile you're in. It's what I say to myself because sometimes, running an endurance race, whatever the distance is a lot like day to day life. You are either caught up in how many miles you've done in a race or how many more miles you've got to go in a race. And either one sort of throw you off because you're like, oh man, I haven't done that much. I got so much more to go. Oh my god, I've done all this and I still got more to go and I'm so tired. And my mantra is run the mile you're in. Be thoughtful, mindful of where you are in that moment because the miles will add up. You're gonna get in. You're gonna get through the race, and that's what I'm trying to do in my everyday life now, and just be in the moment of what I'm in, and just enjoy it. And it is made for some wonderful days, days that I I'm very happy that I started this journey of dealing with my bipolar and dealing with my PTSD and starting therapy because I'm gonna get, you know none of us will ever get time back, and it'd be wasteful for me to sit here and be like, oh, I should have done this before because that defeats the entire purpose of what I'm learning. Uh, I think if anything, I'm thankful that I have these days, that it's not longer, that I wasn't 55 or 60, or that I didn't die in my stress-induced heart attack last year before understanding this piece. Um, Laughing more. I think that's one of the things my wife might say and my kids might notice is just smiling more and laughing more. And speaking of my kids, one of the things my oldest daughter, my alpha, and she's 11, is she's noticed more about members of my family and me. And the other day she'd asked me, did your mom ever do this? Oh, because when my school called and when my daughters had thrown up, and I was like, all right, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Got the two babies in the car and went and got her. And I said, just let my oldest daughter know we got her sister, so she's not looking for her in the car right along. So, uh, my wife had come home and she was watching the sick one and the baby, so I went to get my oldest, my alpha, and we were in the car, and she's like, when you were a kid and you were sick, when you called, did Nana come and get you? I told her no. I said, I remember 4 or 5 times that I threw up everywhere. Went to the nurse's office. They called my mom. She said, nope, you can catch the bus home at the end of the day. Mind you, when I was in 4th grade through 8th grade, the bus was the city bus because the school was downtown and there's no room for school buses. So I was catching the city bus. Um, and I told the girls, the kids, I'll never let you feel that. It's horrible enough as a kid to be sick, but then to feel like no one gives a damn is another thing. And my oldest daughter looked at me, and I was driving, and I told my wife, I almost drove off the road, and she's like, your childhood was really unfair, huh, puppy? And it's probably only 2 seconds went by, but I debated on what I was going to say, and I told her. I said, no, sweetie, it wasn't. And she said, you're a good daddy. That's pretty cool. I don't have any fancy words. That's a pretty cool moment. Um, Another parenting win moment is our two oldest daughters, and slowly Adriana, our third daughter, and even Jarrell, in his responsive way, likes it. They heavily, matter of fact, I can hear it upstairs now. They love the Food Network channel. They love Chop. They love Cutthroat Kitchen. Love the Pioneer Woman. Love what is it? Diners, Drive-ins, and it's Triple D. Diner. Anyway, by Guy Fieri, they love those shows. I mean, I'm serious. Like, and even now when I cook things, I get them. You know, they're asking to be involved, so I get them involved. They're like my little sous chefs and my line chefs and my line cooks, and I get them involved. Well, they asked me the other day. They said, "Can my two oldest? Can we make you and mommy dinner?" And I said, "Of course." So this Saturday, they're going to cook us dinner, and it's going to be stir fry, and they're making a list for my wife to get to the store, and that's amazing to me. Um, they are. I'm proud of them because they are just amazing human beings, and I don't ever want their heads to hit the pillow any night and them ever question how I feel about them. I'm their father. That's the greatest title that will ever be attached to, okay, that and Damari's husband, they'll ever be attached to my name. And that's the titles that are most important to me. So that's it. Like I said, I'll post a picture below of me at the race. You guys can laugh at the picture. Please leave comments. And remember, if you do run the Kentucky Derby Festival Marathon, when you're registering, please pick me as your race ambassador. If you go to kdf.org, you'll see the second tab says marathon. You can click on race ambassadors, and you guys can click me and see my bio if you're just bored, even if you're not going to run the race. Thank you very much for listening. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. Stay good, and much love.